my name is Nikolai Nikitkin, Lead Solutions Architect here at Tricerat, and today we will be doing a brief demo overview of the ScrewDrivers print management platform. ScrewDrivers at its core aims to simplify and streamline the print management experience for IT organizations so they can stop managing their printers and also improve the user experience for your end users. We will cover a few topics today, and first we will start with the user interface and our various assignment methodologies. Then I'll show you our various print approaches, and we'll start with print servers and then follow it up with direct IP printing. And from there, we will talk about how to keep track of all those print jobs in those printers with our reporting functionality, and we'll wrap up by talking about the end user experience and what the end user can expect from ScrewDrivers. So, first things first, let's take a look at the user interface. Here we are looking at the ScrewDrivers administration. First things first, let's take a look at the user interface. Here we are looking at the ScrewDrivers administration dashboard, and in this view, we're able to see a few things. First off, on the left-hand side, we have all of our various print objects, and those could be printers or printer settings. In this case, we are looking at our print server printers and our direct IP printers. In the middle, we have a read-only snapshot of our Active Directory that we use for printer assignments. We do support local AD, and we also support onshore ID as well. Either one is fine. And we're able to make assignments on any level of that directory structure. So we can assign printers in an OU level and have all the members in that OU inherit that printer. Same thing goes for security groups, workstation objects, and even single end user assignments. If you're in a situation where you have multiple locations or multiple buildings or just multiple network segments within your office, we're also able to assign printers based on an IP range. And so the example here is I have two different IP ranges, building 1 and building 2. And so if I'm mainly working out of building 1, I'm going to get an IP address out of this range. And so this ensures that I get the correct printer at the right time for my location. And so every morning I sign in, I get my 4 printers, but then let's say in the middle of the day, I need to go over to a different building and maybe for a meeting or for something else, and I need to print something. Well, I want to make sure I have the printers for the correct building there. And so with our IP range assignments, we're able to ensure that no matter where the user goes, they get the correct relevant printers for them. From there, we talked about the various print assignment methods, and we have a few other ones such as custom host names for non-Windows devices, but these are really the main. So as an example, let's say I need to take one of my direct IP printers and assign it to one of my IP ranges. For ScrewDrivers, there's no group policies to write, there's no scripts to manage or any kind of ad hoc method of making printers available to the end user. Again, the idea is to streamline as much as possible. So if our first IP range up here needs the Lexmark accounting printer, because maybe the accounting folks are sitting, all I need to do is find the printer, find where it's going, and drag and drop the printer. And here we have the only decision that we have to make as admins as far as how this printer will behave. The top option will make sure that the printer is available to the user when they log in, and the bottom 2 options will be for that self-service, which I'll touch on a bit more when we get to the end user experience part of the demonstration. For now, I'll just do always show this printer so we can keep going with the demo. And that's it. I drag and drop the printer, click the button, and we have our printer assigned. The user is able to use our end user agent to click the refresh printers button that's there to get the printer right away, or if they're not logged in, they'll get it on the next time that they log in. So that's our user interface and our assignments covered. So next up, let's talk about our various print approaches. As it's core to a lot of our customer use cases that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. The print server management relies on the ScrewDrivers virtual driver, which is one of the main pillars that Tricerat is built upon. This virtual driver is able to virtualize any printer regardless of manufacturer and present it to the end user with 0 driver requirements on the endpoint. And that's a pretty big deal, right? Because we don't have to manage these drivers anymore. The printer shows up on the endpoint. We just have to make sure that the printers are installed on the print server and are functioning there, and we're able to virtualize that printer for the end user. We also have an industry unique functionality within that that's able to stream down the native print preferences dialog boxes for any model specific driver that you might have on your print server. So that way you get to eliminate all your print drivers, but end users get to keep all the functionality they like, such as stapling or hole punching or any other finishing feature that might be within that print preferences window. And for the print server itself, it's important to understand that that's really the central point of the print environment. And all of the drag and drops and all the fancy features in the world won't help us if the print spooler gets overloaded by a corrupt job and crashes, bringing down the entire print infrastructure. Well, for that, we're able to encapsulate every print job that comes over from a Tricerat printer to the print server in its own tiny little process. And what that means is when we see that job, if it's something wrong with the job, we'll either crash the process or the process will just crash on its own because it's a corrupt job. But the point is that never got moved over to the print spooler process, and thus the impact is reduced to one print job of one user, which of course increases the stability and the reliability of that print environment. From there, we can touch on direct IP printing. Or many other situations where you might need those native drivers. To think direct IP printing when you have remote, just like everything else, locations, drivers is streamlined, not want to reach back to your data center, able to import native drivers directly into our backend systems, and from there we're able to create direct IP printers. So I'll keep using this Lexmark accounting printer as an example, and I created it the other day, right, by just simply right-clicking, doing a new direct IP printer. I gave it a name, I gave it an IP address that's relevant to that printer, and from this drop-down list, I picked the correct driver. This driver list is there because I've imported these specific drivers using our printer discovery tool into our backend system, and so from there we're able to assign this driver. So now when I drag and drop this printer to that IP range earlier, when that printer builds in the user session, it will build using that native driver for that end user. However, it does build with the print driver defaults, and that's okay sometimes, but for very specific use cases, you might want to pre-configure those preferences for the end user. And with that, we're able to present a printer profile, which is a customizable way for IT admins to configure print preferences for direct IP printers. So as an example here, I have a Lexmark profile set up that's defaulting to two-sided, and it has the username as the watermark at the bottom of each printout. And as you can imagine, you can apply this in many other use cases as well. From there, we talked about our two main print approaches, but now we want to talk about how we keep track of those print jobs to make sure that the printers are functioning correctly, as well as what's happening with our print jobs. We have a variety of dashboards available in our ScrewDrivers report functionality here. So for example, I have some charts up on the screen now for print jobs by user, the number of color copies by username, and just the number of jobs per printer. So some basic facts about our various printers here, but as you can imagine, there's lots more data to cover. To touch on that, we'll go to our quick CSV view here, and there's quite a lot going on here, but really I want to focus in on the various columns we have available to us so we can find out who printed it, the name of the document, the name of the printer, the driver name if that's relevant for direct IP printing. And from there, we're also able to capture the exact submitted times and the end times of the print jobs, the number of pages printed, and so on, such as color and black and white. There's lots of good usability here, so we can really keep track of when exactly these print jobs came out. So if there's somebody picked up a job off the printer that they weren't supposed to, you can kind of the SNMP protocol reporting the error codes, track that down. And we have a central place to go. And you can also track print job reporting to be able to talk about what are these printers doing. From there, we might want to also monitor test report printer. The door is open, it has all kinds of different problems. But the point is, we have this in front of us. We're able to take action on it, maybe, well, hopefully, before end users notice. And so here we have, again, the centralized interface for all kinds of reporting as far as printing goes. And so here we have, again, the centralized interface for all kinds of reporting as far as printing goes. And now, to talk about our end user experience, there's really only a few things I'd like to chat about here. First, on the left-hand side, we have our ScrewDrivers printers app, which is the end user agent that all end users will need to have if they want to have printers delivered by Tricerat. And really, there's only one reason for this to be interacted with by a user, and that's if you're allowing for that self-service. Otherwise, they don't need to know this exists or have it open or log into it or anything like that. If I'm a user and I do have the power of self-service, I have two options. I can either use this add a printer list, or I can use a map that was previously imported by my IT admin to select the printer on a more visual level. So if I need to add this printer here, I simply need to click the pin, click the add printer button, confirm it, And what you'll notice is my printers will disappear from here and rebuild in just a few seconds as we create new session-based printers every time that is refreshed for any configuration changes. Print server-based printers. So I'll use a Zebra label printer as an example, as Tricerat is fully compatible with any print driver out there. That ability. And so for here, we have our ScrewDrivers driver being used. So the local Zebra driver is not here, it's on the print server. But if I click on print preferences, what we're able to do is connect to the print server and say, hey, Nick is requesting this dialog box, and it's able to stream that down to my user, and I can select all the various functionalities that I may need. You get to eliminate your print drivers, but end users get to keep that very, very important functionality to them that might be associated with the various job tasks. Print management platform. If you have more questions or would like to see a much more detailed demo, please reach out to our sales department. They'll be more than happy to set up a time to speak with one of our engineers so we can explore your use cases and how ScrewDrivers can be the right solution for you.